Married at First Sight, 10 things that need to change immediately. Now that the disastrous season 17 in Denver has ended, I think now is as good a time as any to count down 10 things producers need to change in order to make this show more interesting and entertaining to watch. This video could also be called an open letter to producers. And I want to thank my sponsor for this video, HelloFresh. I will tell you a little bit more about them in a few minutes. Hi, my name is Tamara, and this is Tamara Lynette Tells. Now, let's get into this list, and be sure to listen to the end where I threw in a couple of extra honorable mentions. So, number 10 thing that I think needs to change immediately, stop feeding us fluff before the weddings. We know they need to introduce the chosen cast members to us, but instead of having them run through a park in slow motion or practice their favorite yoga pose, have them carry a cell phone camera and tape themselves in their everyday lives. Have them tell their friends and family that they're getting married at first sight on cell phone camera. Or have them invite friends over to their house and just set the camera off in a corner somewhere, then proceed to chat and interact as they normally would. I would prefer to see them in their normal and natural habitat rather than having them invite their friends to a restaurant to tell them that they're going to get married at first sight. That feels fake. There's a full-on production crew at the dinner table. They had to sign releases in order to be on camera. That's not your average Tuesday. By the time they get mic'd up, have huge box lights placed in their face, and a producer directing this scene, they've probably figured out that their friend got chosen to get married at first sight. Number 9, stop throwing the cast into marriages without premarital counseling. Now, marriage is challenging enough as it is, but marrying a stranger on TV is crazy hard. Have some one-on-one and group therapy sessions. For the group therapy sessions, have them meet individually, not with the other cast members around, but in a group of all married women or men so that they can listen to real problems and learn some conflict resolution. And maybe they can even flush out some of their own personal issues they need to work on. Because some of these folks need to thump their inner child in the forehead. Number 8, stop beating their problems to death. After these couples are married, all we hear about are their challenges. She's wearing too much makeup. He didn't tell me I'm pretty. Her brother stabbed me in the toe. Wah, wah, wah. There's a saying, what you focus on grows. The producers make these couples' problems the star of the show. The more they concentrate on the negatives, the more the negatives take over their marriages. Every time they turn on the cameras, the couples are asked a million questions about the things they don't like about each other, problems they have with each other's lifestyle, or to elaborate on anything bad that happened off or on camera. I'm not saying that they should ignore their problems, but balance in some positivity. Like, what do they like about their match? Talk about the good times. Talk about who's a better cook between the two of them, because you know what they say, the way to trap a person into a relationship is through their stomach. Or is that the way to their heart? I forget. But what these folks need to do to impress their mates is prepare restaurant quality meals at home with HelloFresh's ready in 20 recipes. In other words, they can whip up some impressive meals in only 20 minutes. They don't even have to go food shopping because HelloFresh delivers all of the ingredients right to their doorstep. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know I've been struggling with my weight, child. HelloFresh has some fit and wholesome recipes that are under 650 calories, and those recipes are filled with super fresh produce. And they even surprised me with seasonal produce straight from the farm, child. Whenever I eat HelloFresh meals at workout, I see good results on the scale. Woo woo! Now, this offer I'm about to drop on you is near and dear to my sweet tooth. Check this. When you sign up today, you'll unlock free dessert for life. With every box you receive, you'll get to choose a dessert for free. So far, my favorite is their strawberry swirl cheesecake. It is so yummy. So go to HelloFresh.com and use code TLTSweet for free dessert for life. One dessert item per box while subscription is active. Now that's code TLTSweet at HelloFresh.com for free dessert for life. I'll also pop a link in the description. Now don't sleep on this deal. Don't get your free dessert for life on. Now let's get into number 7. Swap out the experts. With the exception of Dr. Pia, it's time to get some fresh faces in these experts' chairs. Dating has changed a lot since these two were searching for love at a local sock hop or Sadie Hawkins dance. Back in their day, it was more difficult to find dating prospects, so when they found someone they clicked with, they worked hard to make it last because they didn't know when a new potential dating prospect would cross their path and actually give them their pager number. Given the swipe and go culture of dating apps, how do Dr. Pepper and Pastor Cal know how to find individuals committed enough to marry someone they'd never consider swiping right on in the real world? I understand that there are other people behind the scenes that cast this show as well, but I think the people guiding the couples should have dating app experience for this show in particular. Because when folks are struggling with attraction, the advice these two give is not practical for the dating app generation. Speaking of not being attracted to each other, that leads me into number 6. Stop ignoring people's likes and dislikes by matching them with their opposite. Too many times on this show, we've heard a couple talk about kids. One wants them and the other one doesn't. Or they pair people who have different political views, or one has a job and the other one doesn't. You're just wasting these people's time. Stop it. Number 5, stop making the spy cam optional. Season 17 was the biggest finger pointing, he said, she said, game playing season so far. Maybe if they had the behind the scenes cameras rolling, there wouldn't have been so much controversy on who's telling the truth. Learn from your mistakes. Don't give the couples the option to have the nanny cams on or off. Not only should it be mandatory to have them on in certain rooms of the house, but more of that footage should be used on the show in place of the well-manicured, highly edited footage they take with the production crew. Speaking of editing, that leads me to number 4. Ease up on the crazy editing and just tell the story. Now, between the lies of the contestants and the liberty they take with the edits, this show is turning into a modern day soap opera. Both have bad acting, and the only difference is this cast gets crappy pay. And stop editing it in a way that doesn't tell the true story of what happened. Previous cast members have complained about editors splicing their reactions from one scene into an entirely different conversation in another scene in order to manufacture a narrative that is not accurate. Now, the Married at First Sight contract forces the cast to agree to the possibility that their stories could be told in a way that isn't true. These people are interesting enough, well, most of them anyway, that if you put them in the right scenarios, their true colors will show up. Show us that, but stop making villains out of people who don't deserve it. The number 3 thing I think they need to change right away: stop excluding the experts from the show. In the original seasons of this series, the experts were all up in these people's business, but in a good way. They were trying to help them as a couple and as an individual. Not only did they meet with the experts regularly, but the experts would meet with each person one-on-one, give them some counseling once their crazy true colors started to show, and then try to help them be a better person so that they can be a better spouse. Then the experts would meet with them together as a couple to try to help them in their marriages. Then midway through the season, they would have a recommitment episode where the experts counseled each person individually, asking them what they could do better to make their marriage work. It kind of like forced them to take responsibility for their own actions that may be contributing to the downfall of their relationship. But at the end of these conversations, they asked each person if they were committed to working on their marriage and working on the issues they are bringing into their relationship. But even before and after this, we would see the experts on iPads, hear them on speakerphones, and show up to their apartments. What used to be appealing about this show is that it really felt like they were making an effort to give these couples the resources they needed to build a foundation for a decent marriage. But not anymore. The experts are like celebrities that make cameo appearances after their marriages are already raggedy and falling apart. Stop it. Find ways to inject the experts in these people's lives multiple times a week. Number 2, reduce group hangouts among the cast. This show is becoming more about the relationships the wives build with the other wives and the husbands with the other husbands, more so than it's about marriage. Watching all the couples and the cliques that form hang out together and give each other bad advice since the experts are nowhere to be found is contributing to the downfall of these marriages. I'd rather see them hang out with their real friends and family on a regular basis to discover like if their spouse can build a relationship with the people who are most important to them. Watching them interact with their friends, go to the movies, dinner, parties or whatever is more realistic, and having the friends be co-stars could add another layer of the drama this show seems to be looking for with their matches. And the number one change I feel this show needs to make: stop having the cast live in the same apartment complex. I understand why they moved in this direction of having couples mingle. This experience is unique to the point that no one can relate to them in a way that other castmates can. Fine, set up a couple of group dinners at Mildred's Chicken Fingers or whatever, but don't have them all live in the same building together. Season 17 should have been a wake-up call. That group dynamic created a hostile work environment. Where's the HR department? Who's protecting these people from themselves? I will give it to them. This show has created many lifelong friendships, but shouldn't that time have been spent building a friendship with their spouse who they only have 8 weeks to get to know? They need to go back to their roots and have the couples find a home to live together where they have to work within a budget and find a place that fits their unique personalities. Now, this is more of a real life situation, like house shopping, making it their own, all while staying within a budget. Woo! So that's my list of 10 changes I think the producers need to make today. And as promised, I have a couple of honorable mentions. Honorable mention number 1, bring back the financial conversations. Back in the day, the couples were shown sharing how much money they make, how much money they have in their savings, their monthly expenses, and the amount of debt they had. That's real life make or break a relationship talk right there. Honorable mention number 2, many Married at First Sight fans are upset that the show recruits contestants. So the casting folks hop on dating apps, go to local bars, and DM people on social media to ask if they want to apply to be on the show. Now, I don't have a problem with recruiting, but I do have a problem with who they recruit. So when it comes to recruiting, I get it. That's basic TV protocol. Everybody doesn't see the casting notices, and they need a wide pool of singles to choose from to cast a show like this. And it's no secret that the dating pool is filled with pee. A lot of people don't even make it far in the casting process for various reasons, or they drop out as they learn more about the crazy rules of this show. So they have to do something to find 5 couples they can match. And just because someone didn't see the casting notice and had to be reached out to in order to learn that the show was looking for singles doesn't mean that there are any more or less serious than those who do see the casting notice. Besides, people who see the notice and apply are often playing games and just want to be on TV or gain Instagram followers just as likely as those who were recruited. So I'm fine with them recruiting folks. What I have a problem with is that they are gaining a reputation for recruiting singles who aren't necessarily looking for marriage. Like their dating profile doesn't say they're looking for a husband or wife. Therefore, they find people who are looking at this as an opportunity to just try something new, get their 15 minutes of fame or whatever, and think they can just get a divorce if it doesn't work out after the 8 weeks. Hell, some of these folks called it quits after a week. So recruiting, yes. Recruiting randos, no. Okay, so this is my list of things that need to change in order to bring back the intrigue and personal growth and better match couples this show needs in order to reignite the spark they used to have. So what do you think? Did I leave anything off the list? Let me know in the comments. In the meantime, that's all I have for now. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in my next video.